We have here in the comments, it is time for Fiji. So we welcome Radhakant Prabhu, who has assisted in putting this program together. Thank you very much, sir. Please tell us about yourself, and then we'll have the questions.
Hare Krishna. First of all, I'd like to thank you. The program is going really wonderful, so I'm really enjoying it. So thank you so much for putting this together. So yeah, my name is Radhakant Das. I'm a disciple of His Holiness Vedavyas Swami Maharaj. It's been about 16 years since I've been in ISKCON after initiation, but before that, a few years I've been just being with Devotees Association. I'm based in Suva at the moment in Fiji, but I work in Samoa. But as we all know, current situation isn't very good for traveling. So I've been here after coming back from Italy, unable to go to my workplace, which is in another country. So yeah, but I'm a resident of Fiji at the moment.
Wow, amazing. You've been practicing for quite a long time, like 16 years.
Mataji, to be very honest, even before I was born, my family had been in touch with devotees. That's when I think Srila Prabhupada first came to Fiji, and then he left and some disciples came and they were preaching and they were doing book distribution. So one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, I would not know the name, but I know that there was a book at my place. And from birth, I would love to, imitate as a great, preacher or a, priest or something, So I would pick up Prabhupada's books and I will imitate, because my grandmother was a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. So what I would do, I would just pick this book and I would imitate as if I'm reading and preaching, and it was Srila Prabhupada's books.
Wow.
So I began when I reached the age of about 10 or 11, I began preaching Bhagavad Gita, but I was not using Bhagavad Gita as it is. So in school, I got in touch with some devotees who came and saw me preaching. So they put the beads around my neck. I didn't even know what to do with that. So I thought it's for wearing. This was the chanting beads. So I would put that around my neck and still go preaching. And then slowly, So after about 10 years later, I ended up becoming a devotee. So that's how my Krishna consciousness actually began. So it all
Which means that actually it began before that birth.
Yeah, very interesting. I still have the books that probably my grandparents bought during book distribution. I still have that, and when I ever go preaching, I always take that copy with me. It's written there, my grandfather's name there, they bought it.
We're sort of curious, what is Fiji like, and how are the people there, and how have they accepted the Bhagavad Gita, and how has it impacted them? And yeah, please share some of your
And have you met Kalia?
Yeah, the serpent.
I've heard Kalia lives in Fiji.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stories. I think even Srila Prabhupada once mentioned about Ramanique Island, which is an island that he says was referred to the Fiji group. But Fiji is a very small island nation. It's about close to 1 million population in size. And we have 3 major races here. So we have the indigenous community, which is the Fijians, the Itoki Fijians, we call them. And then we have the Indian migrant population, which came as indentured laborers from India under the British rule. And then we have a very small community of the Chinese and the Europeans that make up the overall population of Fiji. So predominantly there's Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam in Fiji. But interesting thing is that despite having 3 major races, 3 different religions, we see that people accept each other with all openness, and they're willing to listen and to hear. And the preaching activities, if you come to Fiji, you'll see, when we go chanting, people will dance with you, people will listen to you, people buy scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita. And the way Krishna consciousness has been spreading in Fiji, as I mentioned, there has been devotees who have really, really worked hard. And now we have, despite being a very small island nation in the Pacific, we have 3 major temples, one in Singatoka, one in Lambasa, and then we have also one in Suva. So Lotoka, Singatoka, and Suva, and then we have one in Lambasa as well, and many well-developed centers as well, preaching centers. And we have regular programs there. People come to attend these programs and they benefit from the different, even university preaching. I remember when I was a student in the university, most of the times, one of my friends said, if you feel, disappointed or depressed, or you are not doing well in your exams or something, probably just go and pick a book in the library and that book will help you. And I asked him, which book was that? And he gave me a copy of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And it's still there in many libraries in Fiji, you find. Even the devotees have placed Bhagavad Gita in many schools as well, in their libraries. And we've also got many wonderful outreach programs happening here. University preachings, food distribution, Harinam. So basically very much what ISKCON does throughout the world, in terms of preaching. But one thing very interesting in Fiji is that on a national level, we have had for the last maybe 15 years, regular Bhagavad Gita programs on the national radio program. So we have devotees who go and conduct, yes, so it has been happening every Sunday. And many people in Fiji will eagerly wait for Sunday Bhagavad Gita program over the radio. And sometimes you'll have feedbacks, people will come and ask, oh, so you spoke about this, I'm more curious to know. And people also have come to Krishna consciousness. I know of a devotee, one time I went over the radio station and I gave a class, and then one Mataji after that called and he said, I want to speak to you, I just had your program on the radio. And then, she's now my god sister. So, I mean, people do join Krishna consciousness even by radio programs in Fiji. So,
yeah, of course.
So wonderful programs happening in Fiji. And the interesting thing is, I think Bhagavad Gita has united the major races in Fiji as well. I'm sorry, there's a very bad rain just started.
Oh, that is rain. I thought it was a vacuum cleaner. Is there a hurricane coming from you?
We have been getting some cyclone warnings and then flooding as well. It's been very difficult moment, raining for last 2-3 days. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us from under Govardhan Hill. As Indra sends the torrents.
So we have
yes.
We have a video presentation of the impact of Bhagavad Gita in Fiji. So if you'd like, we can go to that now.
Hare Krishna.
प्रोग्राम में सुनने के लिए स्वागत करते हैं। जैसे कि हम जानते हैं गीता जयंती जो उत्सव है चल रहा है और हमारे जो परम गुरु है श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी जिन्होंने बहुत मेहनत कर इस ग्रंथों को लिखा है। और श्रील प्रभुपाद जी के गुरु चाहते थे कि इस ग्रंथ को वो हर एक देश देश में जाकर वितरण करें। तो उसी के निमित्त में मैं अपने गांव में नाउलू गांव, नकासी गांव, सभी घर घर पर मैं जाकर ये पुस्तक का वितरण कर रहा हूँ और लोगों को ये जो दिव्य ज्ञान है वो दे रहा हूँ। क्योंकि जब तक दिव्य ज्ञान लोगों को प्राप्त नहीं होगा तब तक हृदय में प्रकाशित नहीं होगा, और जब हृदय में प्रकाशित हो जाएगा दिव्य ज्ञान तो लोग भक्ति मार्ग में लगेंगे। जिस तरह से एक दिए जलता है तो प्रकाश कर देता है, उसी तरह ये श्रीमद् भागवत गीता जैसे ग्रंथ है, इसको अगर कोई भी पढ़ेगा तो बताया गया उसके हृदय में ज्ञान की प्रकाश में दीपक जो प्रकाशित हो जाता है, और ऐसे में हम सब भगवान के ओर निकट हो सकते हैं। भागवत धाम जाने के लिए हमें शास्त्रों की जैसे भागवत गीता का ज्ञान बहुत आवश्यकता है। जैसे इस देश में बताया गया कि नो मस्ट नो एंट्री, तो श्रीमद् भागवत का जो ज्ञान होगा जो भक्तिमय है, बताया गया नो भक्ति नो एंट्री फॉर द भागवत धाम। तो भागवत धाम जाने के लिए एक ही ग्रंथ होना चाहिए, वो है श्रीमद् भागवत गीता, और एक ही मंत्र होना चाहिए, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। और एक ही पुस्तक होना चाहिए श्रीमद् भागवत गीता, जिन्होंने भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने इस मंत्र इस गीता को गाया है, और वो देवकी के पुत्र है भगवान श्री कृष्ण, जिनका उपदेश सुनकर आज संसार में लोग अपना जीवन बदल कर और जो भागवत धाम की प्राप्ति कर रहे हैं। तो मैं हर घर घर पर जाता हूँ श्रील प्रभुपाद जी का पुस्तक वितरण करने के लिए। श्रील प्रभुपाद जी का आदेश था कि हर घर घर पर ये पुस्तक देना चाहिए ताकि लोग पढ़ सके। हम सब जानते हैं श्रील प्रभुपाद ने कितना मेहनत कर शास्त्रों को लिखा है। श्रीमद् भागवत गीता जो गीता जयंती उत्सव चल रहा है, तो हम हर घर घर पर जाते हैं, लोग लेते हैं और पढ़ते भी हैं। हम बताते हैं कि पढ़ो ताकि ज्ञान रहे, ताकि ज्ञान के माध्यम से हम भागवत धाम की प्राप्ति करें। यही कलयुग का धर्म है कि हमें इस दुखमय संसार से निकलकर और वापस भागवत धाम की प्राप्ति करना है। हरे
My name is Williame. I'm an aspiring devotee from the Fiji Islands. I come from a country that's predominantly Christian, and coming into Krishna consciousness has been one of a unique experience in my whole life, I would say. I first came in touch with Krishna consciousness from a devotee who was distributing books outside of the university, and I was in a bad state of mind. I think I did not prepare for an exam, and I had a feeling that I didn't put my best effort, and I was just feeling really down. So I came across this devotee, and he was offering me a book. I took the book. I left it on my dorm room for 2-3 days, and then when actually felt bored and opened the book, I just felt inspired. I felt a connection, with the philosophy that he was teaching about, and I inquired more. And then apparently this devotee had Bhagavad Gita classes in USP, and that's when I came into touch with the Bhagavad Gita. So, fast forward 2-3 years later, I'm now living with devotees, amongst devotees, and I'm learning so much. Especially during this time of COVID, when it's really hard to keep in touch with people, I'm really grateful that through Krishna's mercy and through Srila Prabhupada's mercy, I was surrounded by devotees, and there's this class that's going on, Bhagavad Gita class at Vallevu at the Spiritual Science Center, and I'm learning everything. I'm learning new things every day, and it's one of the important things I learned in the Bhagavad Gita is that when Krishna spoke to Arjun, he spoke about this mysterious science, about attaining the Supreme. And he also reveals that Krishna is the Supreme. And, Bhagavad Gita essentially doesn't mean that coming into Krishna consciousness doesn't mean that all your problems are going to be solved. It just helps you understand this world and how to better, react to all your situations and problems in life.
I really like
and
that
diddly
song.
taster.
Yeah, that was really beautiful how he was playing in the backseat of that car. It was so simple, but really touching, heart touching.
We had a message from Rahul who recorded that message that it started raining, so they recorded that in the back of the car. But also when Viliami was speaking about his experiences, they were sitting out the front of the Fiji Parliament building. So in good time, we will also be spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita in that Parliament building, establishing Varnashram Dham and the principles of Sanatan Dharma.
I'm sure somebody who's sitting in that parliament has just seen this video and be like, oh, they're just sitting right out front talking about the Bhagavad Gita. What's that?
Perhaps, yeah. Gaudiya Vaishnavism will run the world. Srila Prabhupada wanted a thorough overhaul of society, devotees to run the world. So this will also be there. Nitai Gaur Premanand.
Hari Bol. So I just want to thank everybody who has partaken in today's event. We're almost at a close. However, I just want to remind everyone that we are back in 7 hours. More from Russia,
Привет.
Africa. No.
Haribol.
Europe, Latin America, and North America. So just a huge thanks to all of the organizers of the World Gita Day, Anakuseva, Shama, Mohini, all the wonderful people in the back, pulling all the strings and making us look good. Thank you so much for your wonderful service. And thank you to everybody who has tuned in online on YouTube, on Facebook. Please share this with your friends, especially if they're from part of the world that you saw today, and let others know about what's coming up in 7 hours, a whole other world tour happening on the other side. Any closing thoughts, Sevika Vatsala? Prabhu?
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada said that this Krishna consciousness movement will save humanity from its darkest hour. And he personally wanted everyone who joins the Krishna consciousness movement into whatever capacity to invest ourselves wholeheartedly into it and to embrace the teachings and to be representatives of it. And my realization is that when we offer ourselves for that opportunity, very wonderful and mystical things take place in our life. Not just the joy of it, but the entire experience and realization of it. So thank you for this opportunity to be able to serve you all. And I look forward to hearing and chanting with you all in the future. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.